Minimum wage in the city of Los Angeles. It could reach $15 an hour in 5 years.
Supporters say it's needed to address wage inequality, but critics say it'll lead to layoffs and businesses moving out of the city.
KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us now from outside City Hall, where the plan passed its first council hearing today. Dave?
Juan, Lena, this is a big deal. Some council members say it's a landmark piece of legislation. Actually, what it is a framework for raising the minimum wage over the next 5 years, cobbled together by the city council in a series of compromises from 3 different proposals for raising the minimum wage, including one from Mayor Garcetti.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you.
There were cheers at City Hall when the 7 members of the City Council Economic Development Committee unanimously approved a plan to raise the minimum wage in the city of Los Angeles with year-by-year increases over the next 5 years.
It's a landmark piece of legislation, not just for our city, not just for our county or our state, but for the nation. This is a national movement. And I'm glad that LA is moving right to the top of that list.
Under the proposal, which now goes to the full council for consideration, the increases would take place on July 1st of each year, starting on July 1st of next year, 2016, when the minimum wage would go from $9 an hour to $10.50 an hour, then to $12 an hour in 2017. $13.25 in 2018, $14.25 in 2019, and $15 an hour on July 1st, 2020. For small businesses with 25 or fewer employees, each of those dates would be moved back by 1 year. For a city where 800,000 people live below the poverty line and 500,000 workers are earning minimum wage, that's a big deal. And while a proposal to raise the minimum wage appears certain to be passed by the full council sometime soon, the debate over its impact still continues.
Over 60% of households in my neighborhood lives on public subsidies like food stamps and public subsidized housing. And I feel like this is a step in the right direction to support the hard work that we've been doing in our community.
Mark Echeverria, whose family owns the famous Musso and Frank Grill in Hollywood, says he favors increasing the minimum wage. But he says when it rises to $14 and higher, even for waiters and waitresses who are making tips, he may have to lay off up to half of his staff, which kills him.
I would be forced to have to cut down on my day parts, meaning cut down on lunch, because lunch just doesn't turn in the revenue that we would need to sustain the increase in minimum wage, which would be a result of losing 30 to 50% of our workforce. And these guys are my family.
On the other hand, Meniva Curry, a member of the Alliance for California Community Empowerment and strong supporter of raising the minimum wage, says the 5 years it takes to get to $15 an hour under the proposal now on the table is waiting too long for too little.
No, I didn't like it. Okay, for me, it's like we're playing catch up. For sometimes, the way I feel, these large corporations, they can afford it. Okay, they've been underpaying their employees for so many years. There should be some reserve.
Now, some other cities like San Francisco and Seattle have already passed plans like this to raise the minimum wage to $15 in that vicinity. Now what happens here in LA is the framework passed today by the council committee will go to the full council as a specific bill written, and then expected to arrive for the full city council to begin consideration as early as next week. We're live outside City Hall in downtown LA. Dave Bryan, KCAL9 News.